Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Welcome. This is From Beyond The Paign, a Illinois basketball podcast. Folks, I am once again asking for thoughts and prayers because teenagers and young adults have once again ruined my Sunday. Illinois loses to Maryland 76-67. God. I don't know what else. I don't know what to say, truly. Shout out to Scott Van Pelt. He's the only thing at Maryland that I like. Scott Van Pelt. Shout out to you, man. And I said this on Twitter. We never beat Maryland. Every year we should beat Maryland. We never beat Maryland. I was at the game at the State Farm Center, I believe in 2020, before the pandemic. So like January 2020, that Illinois team was better than that Maryland team. They lost. Last year against Maryland, they lost. They were better. They should have been better than that team. Every year I feel like Illinois on paper is better than Maryland, and they never fucking beat Maryland. It is a tale as old as time. Time is a flat fucking circle when it comes to Illinois basketball facing off against the Maryland Terrapins. That's what I have for you to start the show, folks, because I asked over a 5-game stretch for Illinois to go 4-1 because going into that 5-game stretch, they pounded Mizzou. They dominated every team they played in December outside of Tennessee. They pounded, and today was the day that they could have made that 5-game stretch 4-1. Instead, they go 3-2 with losses to Purdue and Maryland. And you know what? I can't complain too much about the Purdue loss. It was a road game, tough environment, whatever. But this is at home. You lose at home to Maryland. Honestly, a Maryland team that has probably underperformed. And I feel like maybe in a month or a month and a half, I might feel better about this loss, as in Maryland this might be the game that sends Maryland in the right direction. But in this very moment, this is a bad loss. Maryland looked like they're going to be at the bottom of the Big Ten this year at this point. And if this changes things for them, good for them. Credit to them. But at this point, it just feels like a bad loss for Illinois. What's up? Hi. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Twitter or on my Facebook page, please come to the YouTube channel, hit the like button and or subscribe, or do both. I'd appreciate it if you're an Illinois fan. This game, you just knew, like you knew going in this game you should win this game. Illinois was 9-point favorites going into this game. 9-point favorites. Vegas had them as 9-point favorites, and you lose to the Terps. I got nothing for you, folks. I got nothing for you. In terms of, like, I can't spin it. There's no spin zone here. This is a bad loss. All right. I don't know, where should I start? Should I start with the fact that you got pounded in the points in the paint category, or should I start with the fact that I hate Sunday games at 1 p.m.? I can't decide which one gives me more heartburn. They both, in some aspects, give me the same amount of heartburn. No more 1 p.m. games on Sundays, all right? These college students, you just know that the way they played today, you just know that they were out doing ungodly college student stuff on a Saturday night, no matter how cold it was. Like, you just know it in some form of fashion. Also, getting up on a Sunday to go play a basketball game, an organized basketball game. whether they were doing anything crazy or not last night, it doesn't matter. I just hate 1 p.m. Sunday games. All right. Cancel them, please. All right. From a basketball perspective, Illinois got murdered on points in the paint. 52-26, folks. 52-26 points in the paint. That is embarrassing, people. Embarrassing. That's worse than any game that they've had this year is in that category. I'm not even actually sure if that's true or not, but I'm willing to bet that it is. They did not play that bad against Purdue. Hell, they didn't even play that bad against Michigan State in that category. And you know what's probably the most frustrating to me in this game is that I feel like Illinois actually played better today than they did against Michigan State. And Michigan State is for sure a better team than Maryland. There's nothing I can blame other than Illinois on this loss. Let's go through some stats. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm an eye test guy. But you know what? When we got to go through the stats to explain why a team lost, I can do that. And I can also give credit where credit is due. All right. I have no one here to blame other than Illinois, and mostly their second half performance, because holy shit, were they building a house with bricks. Illinois, they had 39 points at halftime. They finished with 67. They scored 28 in the second half. Maryland scored 39. They actually allowed 2 more points than they did in the first half. Maryland shot 46% from the field. 46% from the field. Illinois shot 32. And most of the bad percentages, came in the second half because they could not make shit in the second half. They were shooting 50% at halftime. They were shooting well over 50% from 3. They were making shots in the first half. The offense went completely away in the second half. They just decided they forgot how to play basketball or something. One might say I should give credit to Maryland's defense, perhaps. Maryland shot 4 of 17 from 3. 4 of 17 from 3. That's 23%. I tweeted before the game. They're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country, ranked 348th. I think that's out of 350 teams. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Holy hell. They shot 23% from 3, and you lost. You went 19 for 24 from the free throw line, so you missed 5 free throws. It's not the worst. But you missed some key ones down the stretch. Maryland went 12 of 17. They actually shot worse from the free throw line. Rebounds was pretty normal, pretty even. 41 for each team. Maryland had 11 offensive rebounds. Illinois had 15. 3 consecutive games now where I feel like Illinois has been giving up way too many offensive boards. It started in the Purdue game. It continued into the Michigan State game, and 11 again tonight. I just feel like they're giving up too many offensive boards, which is giving Maryland or any team they're facing extra opportunities, maybe extra opportunities inside the paint. 14 assists for Maryland, 8 for Illinois. Illinois turned the ball over 9 times. They had a stretch where they turned the ball over at least 4 or 5 times in the last 10 minutes of the second half that allowed Maryland to get back in the game, because at one point, Illinois was up by double digits in this game in the first half. But their sloppy play in the last 10 minutes of the first half allowed this game to be close at halftime. Illinois' okay, never mind. I was wrong on that. Illinois' largest lead was 9. I swore they were up 20-10 at one point. My bad. Anyway, They had a 9-point lead at one point. They started the game very well. Luke Goody got this team going early, 9 quick points off 3 threes. But Illinois could not stop Maryland in the paint. 52-26 points in the paint, folks. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. And a large portion of those points came from Jameer Young and Julian Reese. Jameer Young, 28 points, 11 of 24 from the field. He missed every 3 that he took. So all his points came inside the arc. 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Julian Reese, 8 of 16 from the field, 4 of 7 from the free throw line. 20 points, 11 boards. Those two won the game for Maryland. Scott for Maryland as well had a good game. 9 points, 5 rebounds. He hit a pretty clutch 3. The thing about when Maryland made a 3 in this game was that every time they made one, it felt like it was a huge momentum change in the game. As in, like, there were times in that last 10 minutes of the second half where it felt like Illinois was closing the gap, getting it down to 5, getting it down to 3, and then Maryland would hit one of those 4 threes that they made. Maryland, as well as they played, it felt like they tried to also give the game away multiple times as well. So that's just a bad loss, bro. It's like plain and simple, a bad fucking loss. And again, I hope a month and a half from now, I think differently. I hope Maryland now plays well going forward because they were, I think Robbie Hummel mentioned this on the broadcast. Robbie Hummel mentioned that Maryland was preseason picked to finish 3rd in this conference. They're year in and year out, they're a decent program. I'm not even saying that the fact that they basically own Illinois every year it is annoying because they're bad. It's just the fact that Illinois can never beat them. Just never can beat them. And I don't like every time they go to Maryland, never win. I feel like every time Maryland comes to Illinois, Illinois finds a way to lose. So it is what it is at this point. It is what it is. But at this point, it feels like a bad loss. Let's go over why Illinois, from at least outside of points in the paint and Maryland's contributions, why Illinois lost this game. No one did shit except for Marcus Damask. And yes, Luke Goody finished with 13, but he scored 9 points the first 10 minutes of the game off 3 threes. So he did nothing the final 30 minutes of the game. Coleman Hawkins, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 of 6 from the field. I mean, he's got to be more impactful than that, man. He is the second guy. It is Marcus Damask, Coleman Hawkins, and Quincy Guerrier, man. Those 3 have to perform. They have to play well. If Terrence Shannon is not going to be on this team, those 3 have to be the guys who carry you. Marcus Damask did his job today. He had some bad turnovers, I'll say that. He had 5 turnovers, and one of them in the second half made me want to pull my hair out on a screen and roll in which Hawkins did not roll. He went to the 3-point line off the pick, and Damask drove, and he tried to do a bounce pass out, and it just was nowhere near him. It was an easy turnover for Maryland to get, and they went down and hit a layup, and it was a crucial possession that they turned the ball over on. I think Illinois had some momentum. They got a miss off a shot, and they did not take advantage. So, even though Marcus Damask carried them in this game, he wasn't perfect either. Those 5 turnovers just can't happen. They just can't happen, man. He had 5 of the 9 turnovers. But Coleman Hawkins, he's got to shoot it more than 6 times. And 4 of those 6 shots can't be from 3, man. You are 6'10", have a unique skill set for someone who is 6'10", and you're taking more shots at the 3-point line than you are inside the paint. He also fouled out, and I'll say this, I do not agree with the 2 fouls that were called against him. But when Illinois led the game in free throw attempts, I'm not going to complain about the refs. I'm not going to. I didn't like those 2 foul calls. I think that there's reason to argue against that. So don't say that I'm blaming the refs, because I'm not blaming the refs. I just think that those 2 calls were bad. Those were objectively bad, in my opinion. So, anyway, defensively, I thought Hawkins was great. He had some big moments in the first half that kept Illinois. He was making an impact in the game in the first half defensively. You could see it. He had 2 blocks, a steal. And just even stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, as in just being who he is, which is a 6'10" versatile defender, being able to guard almost anyone on the court. I just feel like he needs to shoot the ball more than 6 times. He's got to shoot the ball more than 6 times. If you're going to be on the court for 29 minutes, you got to shoot the ball more than 6 times. Quincy Guerrier, not a great game either. 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 7 points, 5 rebounds. He had some open shots. He hit 1 3. I felt like he hit his first couple shots, and then just everything started to miss from there. He had a rebound that he couldn't in the final. I think it was like final minute and a half. It was a minute and a half. He almost had a rebound. Julian Reese came over, tried to hit the ball out of his hands, and somehow he did, and somehow Guerrier was the last person to touch it. So Maryland got another possession. I think Illinois forced a turnover pretty quickly right after that, but still, like, it's wasted time off the clock. You're right there. I think it was a 5-point game. It was just bad, man. The offense from Hawkins and Guerrier were bad. Ty Rodgers, not a bad game in my opinion, even though he went 2 of 8. He still had 5 assists and 6 rebounds and a steal. I thought he played good enough defense. But when he goes 2 of 8 from the field, it's tough. And there were a few shots I feel like he should have taken that he didn't take, and they led to turnovers. He had 2 turnovers. And then finally, Justin Harmon. 0 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, but he made one free throw. He went to the free throw line, and he missed one of them, one of 2. He 21 minutes, 1 point. 3 rebounds, assists, and a steal. I mean, I don't know. I want to. You want the spin zone? I'm not going to give you the spin zone yet. We're 19 minutes in. It's still therapy here, guys. It's still therapy. To bring it all back around, those 3 guys that I mentioned outside of Ty Rodgers, those guys got to be better. They have to. They have to. No Terrence Shannon Jr. on this team. Those 3 guys have to be better than that. I'm not saying Justin Harmon has to go out there and score 10 points every game, but he can't go 0 of 7 and 0 of 3 from 3. He just can't. If this team is going to win games, he just can't. He is the only guy off the bench that Brad Underwood has any trust in. Moretti was active today, didn't play. Last podcast, I said something about DGL not playing. Someone in the comments I read said that Underwood said that he didn't play for a certain reason. I can't remember. But right now, Illinois isn't. They don't have a deep roster. They're not playing as if they have a deep roster. Underwood is not going very many off the bench. It's him and Dane Danger. And Dane Danger ain't getting a lot of minutes. However, he had a great first half. Great first half today. 7 points, 4 rebounds. He even made 3 of 4 free throws. He made 3 consecutive free throws. 3. He didn't do anything in the second half, though. And I don't even know how many minutes he technically played in the second half. So with what we have, with how Brad is playing playing the minutes factor right now, those 3 guys I mentioned, Guerrier, Hawkins, Harmon, all 3 have to perform. They just have to, because he ain't going deep off the bench. He's not giving DGL these opportunities. Moretti is coming back from injury, and even though he was active today, didn't play. Why? I don't know. I'd like to see Moretti. I think we'd all like to see Moretti. Maybe they're easing him back in. I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm sure Brad Underwood will probably be asked about this in postgame. I will get to his postgame presser from the beat reporters covering this game. So, all in all, I am really disappointed in this loss. I just am. I still think this team is a top 3 Big Ten finisher. But you controlled your own destiny. You still do. You still control your own destiny, but you're now tied again with Purdue in the loss column in the Big Ten. Wisconsin still has not lost a game, so Wisconsin sits alone at the top. Will they finally lose a game? Hopefully. God willing. I hope so. But this is a game that when you get to the end of the year, you get to March and you're in the battle for, and if they happen to be in the battle for to win the regular season title and they don't win, we will look back at this game. I promise you, we will look back at this game. And that's what pisses me off. Sure, I care more about going to Sweet 16 and more and doing more winning in March. Yes, I do. But you know what? I want to win more than one Big Ten title in the Brad Underwood era. I do. I'd like to do it year in and year out personally. So, yes, this loss hurts from a standings point. We can go look at the standings right now. Illinois is now tied with 5 teams. 5 teams have 2 losses in the Big Ten. With Wisconsin is 5-0. Illinois is now 3-2 in conference. 2 games back of Wisconsin. They're tied with Purdue, Indiana, Minnesota, Northwestern. So I'm just, I'm disappointed. We got a comment here on YouTube. Black Mamba says, Maryland's a good team with really good players. They were bound to find their shit eventually. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, again, they were picked to finish third in the Big Ten this year. I'm not taking any credit away from Maryland at all, but I think if you watch this game and you watch how Illinois plays, they just missed so many easy shots. They couldn't hit anything in the second half. And they also got murdered on points in the paint, and they just should not. They should never get murdered 52-26 on points in the paint against a team that ranks 348th from 3 in three-point percentage. They should not be able to get the ball in the paint that easy when they can't make a damn shot from the outside. There was no defensive intensity from this Illinois team today. Just none. Again, credit to Maryland. They had a great game plan and it worked out. Maybe they caught Illinois at the wrong time. Maybe this is karma because they probably should have lost the game against Michigan State. I know I didn't feel super good after the Michigan State win. So maybe here's a spin zone. We've made it 25 minutes. Here's the spin zone. Maybe this is the loss that gets them back on track. Maybe they needed a loss. like this. They needed a bad loss. Every team, how many times we see a team have a bad loss? Like, for instance, FAU. They had a bad loss against Bryant this year, and then they went on a really good winning streak after that. I think they've been playing really well since then, right? They beat Arizona. They lost to Illinois, but they've overall been very good, right? But that's a team that was in, I believe, still in the top 10 in the rankings. And that team lost to Bryant, and they were a Elite 8 team last year, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe this is a loss that Illinois needed to, I don't know, get them refocused. I don't know. It just didn't feel like, again, no defensive intensity and also just not enough focus. They didn't win enough of the 50-50 balls either. It felt like Maryland wanted it more than Illinois today from the eye test. That's what it felt like. So let me know your thoughts. We don't have a huge viewing crowd today. I know everyone's probably watching that Cowboys-Packers game that started up about 20 minutes ago. But I am, we're here. We're here to talk. We're here to have therapy session because Illinois once again hurt us again. So I think, how this team comes out and plays its next game. I think, we'll see how they respond to this loss. I'm sure they're not happy in that locker room, right? I'm interested. I'm already ready. I wish they could play the game tomorrow. I want to see them. I want to see the bounce back immediately because this loss was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. Let's go to post-game presser. Brad Underwood, as told by Jeremy Werner on Twitter, because I do not have a credential, nor do I live in Champaign. All right. Underwood on Coleman Hawkins. He said, Coleman had a tough day. We're not going to be one of the best teams in the country when he's not at his best. And that's what I kind of said earlier, right? He's got to shoot it more than 6 times. And 4 of those shots can't be from 3. If you're only going to shoot it 6 times, at least make more than half of them be in the paint because you are 6'10" and have a unique skill set for your size, brother. You are better than that. You just simply are better than that. Let's see. What else? Brad Underwood, quote, I'm not very happy because I'm a bad loser. Maryland today just whipped us, and that's frustrating. Yes. That's what they did. There's no, I'm not even being a sore loser. They literally came into the State Farm Center on a freezing cold day in Champaign and whipped Illinois' ass. Plain and simple. Got a comment from Liberty Wins. 0 minutes from Dre or Nico. Hardly any for Dane, who gave them their only real run. Can't tell me they shouldn't at least get a chance when starters minus Damask not playing well. Yeah, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I don't know how long you've been watching, brother, but I kind of said that too. I would have liked to see some Moretti or some DGL out there. And just to maybe just provide a spark, especially in the second half where no one, and I mean no one, was making shit. No one was making shit. And sometimes, as a Brad Underwood supporter, as a Brad Underwood stan, I can also sit here and criticize a little bit. Sometimes his in-game adjustments don't come soon enough, right? Sometimes he waits too long. And I'm happy he's the coach, and I'm happy that he has turned things around here at Illinois compared to when I was a post-grad and coming out of Eastern Illinois University and watching very mediocre teams that were always bubble teams. And now, since he's been here over the last 4.5 years, this team has been a consistent at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. No questions about it, right? But I can also objectively sit here and say that it feels like he doesn't make those in-game adjustments as quick as you would like. That's probably my biggest complaint about him if I were to complain about him. And I just would, I would have liked to see some other guys come out there and maybe provide a spark. That, like, I've watched enough basketball to say that sometimes you just need someone to come out there and provide some sort of spark. And that's what it felt like this team needed, because everyone just felt kind of flat today. Joe Groves, he says, did they remove a zone defense in the Illini playbook? That would have closed up the middle a little. Yeah, considering Maryland couldn't shoot from the outside at all. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't try to do a little bit more of a zone defense, right? I don't remember the last time Illinois ran zone. Like, they just play hard-nosed man-to-man. They switch on, like, every screen and roll because they have versatile defenders, right? But, yeah, this game would have been interesting to see if they would have gone to a zone, at least for a few minutes, especially when Maryland was cooking in that second half, the early part of the second half. So that's a good point. I don't necessarily disagree. What else? Brad Underwood quoted, "We got to get back to who we are." And then he related to offensive rebounds, quote, "It was coming sometimes when you think it's easy, you forget what made it easy, and that's effort." Yes. Sometimes I agree when it comes to effort. I just felt like there was not enough effort today. I feel like Maryland definitely wanted to win that game more than Illinois. And I'm just so used to Illinois at least playing and giving more effort than the other team, especially in home games. What is the record now? 33-9 in Big Ten, or in 33-9 in home games against Big Ten opponents, which is really good. That's over the last 4 years, right? That's really good. But, man, you just can't have that kind of loss at home, man. In my opinion, you just can't. Another quote, Brad said, Maryland deserves all the credit. My fault for not getting our guys ready to play on the defensive side. Thought we were as mistake prone as we've been this season on defense. Yeah. The defense was bad today. The defense was epically bad. All right. So if anyone has any more comments, send them in the chat. I pretty much have nothing left to say on this game other than, again, you can't give up 52. You can't go to 26 to 52 in points in the paint against any team. If a mid-major school came into Champaign today and did something like that, Illinois would have been upset by some like no-name school. They would have, and that team probably shoots better from three because all the mid-major schools do. But that was just, to me, at this point, it's an embarrassing loss, and I hope that in a month and a half, I think differently. Like Black Mamba's comment earlier, saying that Maryland's a good team with really good players. They are bound to find their shit eventually. I do agree they have good players, and I do believe that they are better than what we've seen. But they've also been terrible on the road in conference. So is the entire Big Ten. Now, Illinois has to win these home games, man. I think that's what makes me mad the most. If they would have gone to Maryland and lost like this today, it just would have been same shit, different year, right? But to allow this at home is really disappointing. Now, I haven't mentioned this yet. I guess this is the final thing, the one last thing I got. Whenever the post game, whenever they were shaking hands, I guess Tim Anderson refused to shake Julian Reese's hand, and it almost started some sort of shoving, whatever. I don't know why Tim Anderson didn't want to shake Julian Reese's hand. I don't know, but all I know is that that's a bad look, brother. You've been a big part of this program here at Illinois. I don't know what Julian Reese that made you not want to shake his hand, but that's at this point right now, it's not a good look. And I don't know why he didn't do it. If someone in the chat knows why he didn't do it, let me know. But I just think that that's a bad look, not only on the program, but on you. So be better. And yeah, I would expect that the opposite from like someone like Julian Reese, but you're an adult, bro. Like I don't know what else to say. Like, be better. That's all I got. Just be better. All right. Whew, we're about 35 minutes in. I got one last thing to talk to y'all about. Obviously, Terrence Shannon had his federal court hearing Friday. I was unable to really follow much of it, considering I was at the Cubs convention for work. But basically, the news that we have at this point is that the federal judge did not issue an immediate ruling on TSJ's motion for the temporary restraining order against U of I for his indefinite suspension. So, there's a quote from District Judge Colleen Lawless saying that she will make a decision in an expedient manner and will provide a written order after she looks over more case law. Quote, I'm not in a position to issue a ruling from the bench, she said. So, the only thing else I really know is that Illinois players showed up. I saw that. And I think Brad Underwood was quoted something, and I guess I'm paraphrasing here, saying that they were just being good teammates. I don't think there's anything to read into that. Like, those guys know TSJ from the outside, from just basketball. If put yourself in those shoes. If you are a close friend of someone, would you go to their hearing if they're the defendant or not? I feel like it's pretty normal that they went. I have no issue with the fact that they did, and I don't think anyone else really does either. So I think the teammates were Hawkins, Guerrier, Harmon, Luke Goody, and Marcus Damask. Honestly, I feel like most of the team showed up, but I just saw the pictures of those guys. So, yeah, I guess we just wait now. We just wait and see. That's all I got. I don't really know what else we do. So we're if he comes back, I'm intrigued to see how this team reacts and how the world reacts, but I still feel like he's not coming back. So we're gonna wait and see. And if you want my thoughts more on that entire situation, the last show I did, it's on my YouTube channel, or you can subscribe to the podcast on Spotify. So, yeah, I'm overall just a very, very annoying day. Very, very annoying day. Let's go through Illinois' upcoming schedule. And I might be a little pessimistic. on this next 5-game stretch, guys. I might be. Oh, brother. All right. So, dating back to, and I said this earlier in the show, dating back after they beat Missouri, I said that I wanted Illinois to go 4-1 over their next 5, and they proceeded to go 3-2. It's not the worst outcome, but they didn't give me what I want, so I'm angry. Now, their next 5 games, they go to Michigan on Thursday. Michigan is the worst team in the Big Ten. The worst team in the Big Ten. They are awful. They just lost to Minnesota like last week. All right. Then Rutgers comes to Illinois. Rutgers already got pounded by Illinois early December. Illinois should win that. Illinois goes to Northwestern January 24th. After that, will be a tough game. Northwestern is tough at home. They beat Purdue at home. Then Indiana comes to the State Farm Center January 27th. And finally, Illinois goes to Ohio State January 30th. So that's the next 5 games. Realistically, what should I ask? After this loss, what should I ask for from this Illinois team? They should beat Michigan. They should beat Rutgers. They should beat Northwestern, but I know how tough Northwestern is at home. I'll come back. Indiana at Illinois. Illinois should win that game. Indiana is a bunch of frauds. And then Illinois goes to Ohio State January 30th. Ohio State just lost to Wisconsin this week. I wasn't very impressed. I still think they're pretty good. They have decent guards. I'm thinking that they're going to lose that game. So right now we're 3-1. Do I think they can go to Evanston and beat Northwestern again? Yes. 4-1, guys. 4-1. I'm asking to go 4-1 in the next 5 games. I think it's fair. Hell, they should win the next 5 if I really believe that this team is going to the Sweet 16 this year. But we're taking it every 5-game stretch. So that's where I'm at. I think they can go 4-1 over the next 5. Maybe they give me that result. They should definitely win their next 2. And this goes back to why this loss to Maryland is so annoying. You win this game, you maintain pace with being at the 2nd spot in the Big Ten with 2 easy games coming up. They better win the next 2. After this loss, they better go to Michigan and win. And they better come back and beat Rutgers again since they already won at their place. And Rutgers is not good. They are not good. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. We're asking for a 4-1 stretch over the next 5. And I'm asking for Illinois to win their next 2 games easily. It'll be tough to go to Ann Arbor and win, but Michigan has been so bad. And if they get into a close game with Michigan, Juwan Howard has found a way to lose games for his team. So I'm feeling, even after this loss, I'm feeling pretty confident going to Ann Arbor to play against this really bad Michigan squad. Okay. That's a therapy session, folks. We're around 45 minutes. I want to thank you all for being here. I know it's Sunday. I know it's freezing cold outside if you're here around Chicago or if you're in Champaign or if you're just in Illinois in general. It's fucking cold. I know with it being so fucking cold, it would have been nice to just see Illinois beat a team that they're supposed to beat today, but it did not happen. But the good news is, guys, A, I'm here to help talk us through it for the therapy session. And B, the good news is we're all going to die someday anyway. Got to import that joke in every single time. All right. So, again, Illinois and Michigan, they play at 7:30 on Thursday. So perhaps Wednesday night we'll do a little preview show and we'll go through it. Hopefully we get some more information that comes out related to maybe why Moretti, DGL didn't play. Why is Dane Danger not getting more minutes? I don't know. Maybe some things come out related to TSJ. If some huge news related to TSJ comes out, I'll try and do a reaction podcast earlier if it's before Wednesday. So, again, hit that like button on the YouTube channel, please. It means a lot. It helps other Illini fans find the show. Tell a friend, spread the word. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. We've gained 150, 200 subscribers since I started doing this. So it's a small community, but we're building. And, I love, as much as this team pissed me off today, I love watching this team play basketball every year. So means a lot to be able to do these with other Illini fans because I just don't know enough here in Chicago, unfortunately. So anyway, like I said, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. Same thing on TikTok and Instagram. Again, probably be back Wednesday. And hopefully by then the vibes have changed a little bit and we're feeling a little bit better and we're ready to go to Ann Arbor and whip Juwan Howard's ass. I swear, I need it. I need it like air to breathe now more than ever. All right. So as we do when we get out of here every single time, one last time, ILL. See y'all later.